Three, two, hey, faster than we thought. Hey, folks, thanks for getting to the BAMP podcast. I'm your host, Mike Lafferty, here for drawing and chatting with Mr. Jacob Blackmon. Jacob, how are you doing, sir?
I am doing well tonight. I hope everyone else is well.
I think so, and I'm obligated to play our high-quality audiovisual intro. So, 1 second. That's just to reassure you, gentle listener, gentle viewer, that you are, in fact, ingesting a high-quality, artisanal, handcrafted podcast tonight. Not one of those mass-produced jobs. And what are we drawing tonight, Jacob?
I forget the name of this particular character. It's either like the Thin Man or Gaunt Man or Slender Man or something like that. But it's an it's a wholly internet created cryptid.
Is it that whole creepypasta thing?
No, it's not the flying spaghetti monster.
No, it's but creepypasta is those weird stories they tell on forums, and somehow they weirdly gain real world currency. Like two little girls, middle schoolers, tried to sacrifice a classmate to Slender Man.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah, something like that.
Okay. All right, so he's the real tall, creepy-looking guy wearing a suit?
Yeah, real tall, creepy-looking guy, suit, faceless. Sometimes he has tentacles, other times he just has really long fingers. Yeah, that guy.
Okay, cool.
They made a movie about him, and apparently his whole thing was he turned people into trees.
That could be scary. Yeah, there's also a
tree.
Have you not watched M. Night Shyamalan? Have you not watched that M. Night Shyamalan movie with Marky Mark? Trees are fucking scary, man.
You mean the movie that mostly ruined his career? Because he made that terrible Village movie with that really bad twist, and then just nailed home I'm just phoning it in with trees are the villain. Trees are.
Yeah, it's that one exactly. So
I loved his first couple of movies. I really did, because they were excellent. It's just
I think we all did. That's kind of the thing, right?
Yeah.
So then I like a GM like M. Night. Sometime like, all right, you guys know a tavern. Wait, there's a twist. It's not really a tavern. It's a mimic. That's my impression of M. Night Shyamalan as a GM. Although I'm pretty sure someone out there has already done that. It's everything. Yeah. So we're doing Slender Man tonight. Getting an early start on Halloween creepy stuff.
Yes.
Oh wow, there is a plethora of creepy Slender Man images out there online. Which one are you using for reference tonight?
It's this. I found this one particular piece that's done by Art Adams,
Okay.
where you have Slender Man chasing the Scooby Doo, the Mystery Inc.
Mr. Ink, yeah.
It's a pretty good piece.
Hang on 1 second to find that.
He looks really creepy in that. So
Oh goddamn!
it's proper. It's a really good creepy monster piece.
Let me save that, and if you don't mind, I'll share that.
No, go ahead.
And let me increase the size because that's too small. And boom, boom, there we go. So how's your weekend been, Jacob?
My weekend has been pretty good. That one.
Mm. Where is Scooby Doo in this one?
If it's Scooby Doo as he should be, he is run far, far away.
Yes, that's true. He realized this wasn't a real estate related deception and got out of town.
Yeah.
So cool. Is this for a particular product?
Nope. This is just it's Halloween. it's we're coming up on the creepy season, so now is the time to do creepy things, and so yeah.
Okay, so Beware the Slender Man is a trailer on HBO. It's a movie on HBO Max. It looks like. Oh wow, they have this is a documentary. Oh, this is about the Slender Man stabbings. So. Oh, that's kind of creepy. All right, I'm sorry. I'm watching it in another tab. Hey, we have comments. Who is here? Sean Vera. Hey, Sean. Good to see you, sir. Hope you're having a good Sunday evening up there in Canada. I originally found out there's a 10-second lag between what you and I say, Jacob, and what goes on to YouTube.
And no way to have a censor button in between that.
I guess I just hit end broadcast.
Guess gotta watch what we say.
I'm guessing there's an AI bot running, between StreamYard and YouTube, and they see something horrible that pops up on a watch list, then they'll shut us down. But or if we start playing like the entirety of a movie.
Yeah.
So, because heck, they've taken our show off the air for trailers. So.
See, I don't get that. There's all these people who do reviews and reactions, and they're not getting shut down, and yet here we are. Just what's that about?
A couple of things. Oh, hey, there's Sean. Sean says, not too bad. Thanks. Hope you had a good weekend. Yeah, it was okay. I did a lot of family stuff. Took the boy out to a car show yesterday because I'm an indulgent father and I don't give a shit about cars, but he wanted to go. So, and saw a Lamborghini. So, that was a highlight of my weekend.
Nice.
Yeah. There's a couple of review shows I watch for The Sopranos, and these are guys pulling big numbers, 10,000 downloads a video or views a video, and they actually do get slapped with takedowns all the time. They just tweak the videos and reload it. Sometimes you zoom in on the video on the scene, so it doesn't quite trigger the AI, or you strip out audio, or there's a lot of little tricks you can play like that. So, but yeah, it's a thing that happens, and you gotta be real careful because if you get 3 strikes and you don't remediate them, then they demonetize you. You don't make that fat YouTube loot anymore.
Like anyone gets to make the fat YouTube loot, except the big companies, the big people who are already celebrities. Look at Kevin Smith's YouTube. He's making huge YouTube money because he's freaking Kevin Smith. He already has a huge following. People are gonna tune in to hear what he says.
I met him one time.
Yeah.
There's a couple. And China Vera says, I think some of them get whitelisted. And yeah, I suspect you're right, especially if your viewership numbers are high enough. They probably do that. There's a kid about my son's age named Ryan who has a channel called Ryan's World, and he does toy unboxings, and he has millions of subscribers, and he actually has his own toy line now. I saw it in Walmart last month. So
wow.
There's a few other cases like that. There's a lot of girls who run OnlyFans sites and will also have a wholesome YouTube channel to try to funnel people towards OnlyFans. So that's a thing. I'm not sure why I know that, but I do. There was a guy named Blippi who's kind of like, you remember when we were kids?
To be fair, not all OnlyFans are adult themed. Some OnlyFans, some do art streams and that sort of thing.
This is true. You remember when we were kids? Like every local town had one weird guy dressed up like a clown or a cowboy or something and would do Saturday morning cartoon show.
We didn't have yes, but we didn't have that when in my hometown. We had a guy named the Great Razuli, and he showed horror films.
Okay. There's this dude who wears. You know what? I can just show you a picture of him. He wears. Oh wait, there we go. I have seen this guy's books in Safeway and a few other stores just in the last week. He does songs and educational videos, and those glasses have no frames in them, no lenses in them. They're just orange frames, and that's his thing. My kid loved him when he was like 3, and now I can't stand him. And yeah, he's huge with a certain audience. He's huge. So just one of those things. Yeah, so but yeah, you're right. There's a lot of, there's Brie Larson had a huge YouTube channel during COVID, which I guess is still going on, but she's working again, so she shut it down. Just tons and tons of subscribers, and arguably she doesn't, what's Brie Larson doing that for when she's Brie Larson? But it's an open platform, anybody can use it.
Yeah.
But, so are you going to be in our game on Monday?
Probably.
Still debating? Okay.
I'm not sure. I'll be playing, but I could easily do the voice of the deity.
That would be awesome.
Torag.
I love that name.
When you initially said Torag, I had honestly mistaken it for the Dungeons and Dragons deity Torog, who is the main god, the god who created the Underdark, which is why I was like, really? You're worshiping him? But then I remembered, oh, right, it's Pathfinder. It's a different guy entirely.
It's indeed a thing. So just for listeners and viewers who might not be familiar, what are we working with here tonight on this drawing?
This is the Slender Man, and he is a cryptid of the internet's creation. He apparently looks like a man who is wearing a suit and otherwise does creepy things. His motivations are unclear because he's created by the internet and doesn't have any clear motivation. I'm
kind of surprised he hasn't showed up more in RPG stuff, because RPG creators do love that public domain character stuff.
Well, I know he's shown up in a couple of monster supplements here and there, but yeah, they haven't done anything major with him. For example, I did a Slender Man version for a piece of art for Everybody Games, and that went into their I forget what it was called. It was a Starfinder Occult Adventures supplement. I think it was called Occult Adventures.
So there's this video game account just called Slender, which is it's a survival horror game. You're getting the vibe from what it does. Just look in the trailer. You try to survive and run away from Slender Man, and that's the whole game. If you ever played Five Nights at Freddy's, it's that kind of vibe. Okay. So Five Nights at Freddy's I like better because it has, well, you know the game, right?
I am familiar with the game. I have not played it.
It's like if Chuck E. Cheese had homicidal robots that come alive after dark and try to kill you.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think the idea is they believe that you are a robot and you're not wearing they're not wearing your skin, so they try to shove you into a robot skin, which kills you because you're not a robot.
I could see how that would, yes. So, wow, this is looking pretty creepy so far. All right.
Always add more lines with monsters because it makes it creepy.
Really?
Yes, always add more lines.
That is a good tip. I'll remember that.
Because any details you add to a monster just adds to the either monstrosity or uncanny valley or what have you, that makes it, oh, that's wrong. That's so wrong. You don't want that. No.
You mean the robots in Chuck E. Cheese are not homicidal? What have you heard, Sean? Enlighten us.
Yeah, it's like, well, I have never actually been to a Chuck E. Cheese, so I cannot honestly say for certain whether they're intended to be homicidal or not.
Well, they're creepy. I mean, it's whenever you look at automatrons when they're powered down. I scared the hell out of my my nephew one time. We were there for pizza party. It's like, hey, come here. I want to show you something. Lifted up the curtain, and there they were, staring out, big glassy eyes, staring at nothing. It scared him, and he cried, and I was a bad uncle that day.
Yeah.
So, did you ever hear about the rocket flyer explosion thing?
No, I have not.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure what that's about.
All right, so before it was Chuck E. Cheese, it was Showbiz Pizza.
Okay.
And you had the same basic thing. Here, let me share it. Disneyland-esque animatronics. But the thing is, Showbiz Pizza's out of business, but people have been buying up these robots, putting them in their garage, and having them play other songs. Like, I'm not playing the audio right now because I don't want to get a takedown from YouTube, but this is Black Eyed Peas, I Got a Feeling.
Okay.
And there's a whole hobbyist community of dudes just doing that.
Okay.
No CCs up in my neck of the woods that we keep hearing about how tight the place due to all the fights. I can feel you on that because I stopped going to those pizza places because I was in one that had too many fights. Maybe because I lived in a redneck part of town. But yeah, I once too many, I saw the sheriffs get called at Chuck E. Cheese, and I was like, nah, I got to find someone else to take my nephew.
See, when the parents are getting in fights because their kids aren't getting the experience, it's like, wow, you are the type of people who are just the worst.
I actually, the last fight I saw there, a lady was upset because she couldn't, her kid couldn't get what they wanted from the ticket store, the skee ball tickets.
Okay.
Yeah, and
guess what? I've never gotten anything I wanted out of this.
Well, she had to keep it real, but as Dave Chappelle taught us, sometimes keeping it real goes wrong. So that is a creepy ass hand, man.
Thank you.
So I saw something on the internet that suggested this guy's overall look was inspired by the way H.P. Lovecraft looks in a few pictures where he's wearing a suit.
Well, that wouldn't surprise me. Lovecraft inspires a lot of things.
This is true. He does. He seems like he's evergreen for the gaming community. They just can't get enough of him. I really scared a mutual publisher friend of ours one day. I was talking to him. I was like, hey, so what happens if the Cthulhu boom ever goes away? They're like, oh, shit, it better not. That's my whole back catalog.
Wow.
Well, it kind of reminds me of steampunk, which was a big deal 10 years ago, maybe 15. But then it had its day, and now it's kind of, sort of faded. But Cthulhu just, wow, I keep seeing Cthulhu books selling out left and right. So,
well, there are certain genres that I'm sure are never going to go away. Steampunk is interesting. It's cool. But, I haven't seen that many successful things done with steampunk. It's certainly an interesting style. It is certainly makes for interesting art. But I have never, ever seen a good steampunk movie series. I've not seen a good steampunk comic or book. So I'm not sure how well steampunk does as a medium for entertainment.
I was going to say Sky Commander in the World of Tomorrow, but that's more diesel punk, isn't it?
That's it. No, that's just pulp.
Okay.
It's just straight pulp. And this is another point of contention I have. People who add punk to everything. Diesel punk already existed. It's called pulp.
Fair enough. You know, if you Google steampunk movies, you get a weird collection of things that I don't think fit the don't think check the box. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, I'm not sure I buy that.
No, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen is not steampunk. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen is straight science fiction. It's got some horror elements and action adventure elements because of the characters they're using, but it's just sci-fi.
Oh, hey, got a new commenter. Hey, GBF, he is drawing. Well, Jacob, you can tell him.
I am drawing the Slender Man. Slender Man. So slender. So manny.
Not Iggy Pop, but the other Slender Man. Yeah, someone thinks that Treasure Planet's a steampunk movie.
Except it has huge science fiction elements to it because they've got laser guns and they go into the ether space or astral space. I mean, it's got a lot of those. It's got a lot of steampunk visuals to it. Granted,
yeah, it seems like it's more of an aesthetic than really a genre, right?
Yeah, it's more of an it's more of an aesthetic than a genre.
Like Mortal Engines, I'm not sure. Klaus with House with the clock in the walls. The Hansel and Gretel with remember that one? Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters with Jeremy Renner. Basically, they just had repeating crossbows and they're shooting witches. So
yeah.
Oh, dude, you work so goddamn fast. How do you do it?
It's the muse. I cannot. I don't know. People are constantly asking me, "How do you do that so fast?" I don't know. I put pen to pad and I let it go, and that's just how it is.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, if I Google diesel punk, I get a lot of the movies that show up when I search for steampunk. And most of them, yeah, could absolutely be described as pulp.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, well, that's cool. I really feel like you should do this for a product, though, because this is, this be a creepy cover.
Well, I'm certain I could. I'm certain I can do something with this. You know, I could do a Slender Man build for as a Mutants and Masterminds horror villain, because there's now every magical superhero needs a horror villain.
Well, that's true.
So
how do you beat the Slender Man?
Considering the Slender Man is an internet creation and their powers are nebulous. They're just creepy. What are the Slender Man's powers? Tell me. I can do whatever I want with this character because what they do and what their motivation is has literally never been explained. Yeah, they're just a creepy thing in the background. The Slender Man killed people. The Slender Man tells people to kill people. And it's like, what are his abilities? He's weird. He's creepy. He's a monster.
He's like the insane clown with him. It's like the insane clown posse. He defies definition. Or, more like the Blair Witch, if you're going to be, honest about it. So now you're moving to an upper level, and we're going to color in the clothes, or?
Yep, I'm going to save the line work here. Now I'm going to start on the coloring.
So maybe you could give Slenderman a weakness if you write him up. Because he's an arbitrary magical character like Mr. Mxyzptlk, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, or Rumpelstiltskin. You got to find, what's that weird, quirky thing that'll take him out. And I'm going to suggest to you it's puns.
Then he would be powerless against many of my players, because one of my players is occasionally Owen Stevens, and I don't know if you've ever hung around with that man outside of the inside the gaming arena, but he is a pun machine, and he is unapologetic about it and does not stop at all until you are dead. He's like Terminator.
See, that's why he'd be perfect, because you never think a guy like Owen's going to be at the end of the horror movie.
Owen, the last girl.
But, he figures out that it's puns and wordplay that, that kill him. And, hey, we're in a movie here. That's cool.
So, speaking of Owen Stevens, he challenged me.
He challenged you?
Yes. On Thursdays with Green Ronin, he decided to throw a challenge at me of drawing a monster.
Okay.
And sending it to Troy Hewitt, and Troy is going to hold on to that piece, and no one else is going to see that piece until the next third stage is recorded live. And when they go live, we will show Owen the piece, and Owen has to right then and there figure out how to build that monster for the Fantasy Age system.
No, because Owen is the lead dev now on Fantasy Age, right?
That he is.
Okay. Well, that should be fun.
So I finished that. I finished that piece last night, in fact, and sent it to Troy. And Troy said, "Oh wow, that's amazing!" And then I went to Owen and went, "Wahaha, wahaha, you're doomed." Which I only mean sarcastically, because Owen is amazing and he is so freaking creative. I have no doubt he will find some means of building this creature. Crazy though it is, I'm not going to give any hints other than this is a creature I thought about drawing many, many years ago, just never have, and just finally decided to take the opportunity to do it for this particular instance. And if you want to see what the creature is, you will need to tune in to Thursday on Thursday.
That's on Green Ronin's Twitch and YouTube channel, right?
Yep.
Sweet. And Sean Vera weighs in on the how do you defeat a internet-based cryptid. So there is a Japanese novel manga anime called Inspector, which is also the name of an unrelated RPG, where one of the first foes is a supernatural creature created by internet chat rooms. You defeat by altering how the internet thought about the creature. So you fight them with memes. I mean, not funny pictures, but, memes as in thoughts that change the cultural narrative. That's pretty cool.
That is how they worked the movie Puka. I don't know if you saw that.
Puka or Hookah?
Puka.
It
is a horror comedy movie, and it has Felicia Day. Pardon. And they are creating a toy uh, based on this one toy that a guy owns from his native homeland, and it's called the puka, which it's not based at all on the puka that I am familiar with, which is the fairy that assumes the form of an animal and often leads people farther into the forest for nefarious purposes. This is an entirely different thing.
It looks like a Furby.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a Furby. So what happens in that movie is the fame of the puka takes off with the internet, and the internet just starts adding to its mythology and lore, and it starts to come alive and come after people and murdering them. And they're trying to figure out how to kill it, and they come upon the idea of, we need to share the story of the puka and create ourselves how to kill it. And everyone else needs to share that story of how to kill it, so that it becomes, when it next manifests, we kill it that way.
That is kind of cool. It's a little bit, if you clap, fairies will fly. But yeah, no, I understand. That's kind of cool. And that just came out last year on Hulu. So that's kind of cool.
But there's a lot. It's a fun movie. It's if you enjoy horror comedies, it's a fun little watch.
Huh. I might have to check that out. I wonder if I can find that on iTunes. He really feels like he would belong in Event Horizon, doesn't he?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, with how the various things were done in Event Horizon, absolutely. Slenderman would work there. Although with the way Event Horizon was done, I always saw it as like the precursor to like Warhammer 40K.
Yeah,
because of how they travel through space, and it's not that they go through a wormhole, it's that they go through hell.
It really felt like it was a movie that was almost begging for a sequel. It was kind of straddling the line between an action movie and horror movie, and it ended, and I kind of wanted more right away. So I guess it's a sign of a good movie, but then there wasn't more. So
yeah, but it is one of those movies that does stand pretty well on its own. It can have a sequel, but it doesn't need one. You pretty much got the story. And I love the practicality of the captain. It's like when they finally unscramble the message and they see the hellscape that happened when they activated the jump drive, and the captain was just like, "We're getting off this ship, bam, no questions. Look, we're just leaving. We are going."
It's always nice when you have
that. Screw that. We're out.
It's nice when there's that one smart guy in a horror movie.
Yeah. But of course, that was Lawrence Fishburne, and he usually plays very smart and practical people.
This is true, and apparently he was smart enough and practical enough to avoid being the Matrix sequel. So big props to him.
He's doing fine on the show he's currently on.
Oh, I'm not giving him any guff. I like Lawrence Fishburne, and I am undecided at best about whatever's going on with that Matrix sequel. I didn't bother to watch the last Matrix movie because the word of mouth was just so terrible. So I was like, nah, it's cool. I got the first movie, which was great. The second movie, which was kind of, man, I don't need to go down that rabbit hole any further.
You are correct.
Yeah. That's
the first movie was amazing. The second movie,
Yeah. Remember, I was so into it, and me and guys at work, like the engineers I worked with, had printed out the architect's dialogue from that last scene, and we were reading it, trying to figure out what it all meant.
It's
And
like
a few days later, I realized, if it was a good movie, we wouldn't have to be.
there wasn't just one, there was two incredibly long, boring monologues in a visual medium. This is death, because you had the Merovingian, who was just stupid, and it's like, why are we sitting here listening to this asshole just expound upon his whatever BS philosophy?
I've been at peace with the fact that I like about 40% of what the Kowskis produce, and I just gotta leave it at that and let it go. And it was a bummer because once again, you wanted a lot more with that first movie. But you know what? You could have just left it at that, and it's cool.
Yes, I honestly, as much, I really like The Matrix. The very first Matrix is a magnificent movie, and I could have enjoyed sequels, but I did not enjoy what we got. And honestly, if they had never made a sequel to the Matrix film, that would have been fine. It was a great standing on its own film.
Yeah, remember Dark City? It was a great movie.
Yes, that was an amazing movie.
Would have been improved by a sequel? Maybe not. So, and Sean Barry weighs in saying the Wachowskis can be brilliant, but when they're bad, they are so bad. Yes, I definitely agree with that. Although I would say that about, there's a lot of filmmakers. I had to watch Return of the Jedi recently because I have an 8-year-old boy, and I realized that everything the people hate about the prequels is in those movies, is in Return of the Jedi. All the goofiness, all the cringe, all the bad dialogue, all the.
Well, that's because unfortunately, by that point, Lucas had decided that Star Wars was for kids.
Yeah.
Instead of keeping with the themes that he had previous to in the previous films.
Yeah, and I understand why. It's a financial decision, and he's reaped the benefits. But yeah, it's it's kind of a jarring tone change from the first two movies, and it's it's supposed to be of the first original trilogy, and everyone thinks it's great. But if you watch it without the lens of nostalgia, it's not a good movie.
Yeah.
So, but there's a lot of sequels that have that problem.
Yeah.
And those are creepy tentacles.
Thank you.
So fighting this guy, if you're not going to do the internet, meme, changing what the internet knows about him. If you're just going to, it's like fighting the Blair Witch, right? If you're in a horror movie, how can you fight that character? And I guess the answer is that's why it's a good horror character. In an RPG, though, you have to give, unless you're playing Call of Cthulhu, you have to give your players something, right?
Well, that's honestly the thing. If you're facing an eldritch horror, you don't have to tell them jack about what their capabilities are. It's like suddenly he's summoning lightning. He can do that? Because I don't. Did you've watched like Conan the Destroyer, right?
Oh yeah.
Did you see? Do you remember the scene where Dagoth awakens? And I don't think people notice. It's not that just he was super strong and everything. He was gesturing and lightning bolts would strike down from the sky. That guy had magical powers.
Yeah.
It's like, he can do that. Okay.
I like that movie, but yeah, I'd like. I would be up for one more Conan sequel if they decided they wanted to revisit that as Conan the King or whatever. With Schwarzenegger and kind of getting back to the earlier tone.
Mm-hmm.
But mean, God bless what's his name, but that Conan reboot just did not do it for, I don't think, anybody.
No. Well, it was too disjointed. It really seemed like they were just going from one scene to another of just showing, hey, let's show Conan fighting a monster in a sewer grate that has tentacles because there was an awesome piece of Conan art that once showed that sort of thing. So let's evoke that, and let's show him on a boat fighting pirates because he was once a pirate. So let's have him doing that in the scene, and let's let him go over here and start fighting wizards and witches because Conan does that, right? Yeah, he fights witches. Yeah, it's like it was so disjointed. They needed to focus on a theme and what the story was and something. I personally think that forgotten Aquaman's name.
Arthur Curry?
No, the actor. He played Conan. He also played Aquaman. Khal Drogo. I can remember all his parts, but I can't remember his name.
Is
Jason Momoa.
It's Willem. I'm pretty sure it's Willem Dafoe. Sorry. Yes, Jason Momoa. Who got his start, if I am correct, in Stargate Atlantis.
Yes. The one Stargate series I have not seen.
My wife's a big fan.
I'm a huge fan of DS9, and I've watched all of DS9. I've even watched a bunch of the DS9 movies, but I have not. Not seen.
There were DS9 movies. Deep Space Nine.
Sorry, not DS9.
SG1.
SG1.
Okay.
Too many letters and numbers.
Oh,
but yeah, they made a couple of Stargate movies, and I've seen those, and I've seen Stargate Universe, but yeah, I have not seen Atlantis.
It follows the formula. It's pretty good. They are making noises about rebooting or bringing back that franchise. They're bringing back everything else these days, so it seems like they should. But
yeah, well, it is easily something that they can bring back as either a sequel or a remake, because when you're dealing with space as a scale and portals that you can jump to that go to other solar systems or other galaxies even, then you can have infinite stories to tell. And with modern day special effects, your aliens can get really creepy now.
Yeah,
they don't have to worry about just having them encounter humans all the time.
Yeah, you could have dudes that look like Spice Guild navigators.
Exactly.
Rumor that Amazon looking into new Stargate, says Sean Vera. That would be cool. I'd be up for that. I gotta say, I really have been lukewarm on Amazon's original content, except for a few series here and there. So I like to see them do more cool stuff. Although The Boys, I hear, is pretty good.
The Boys has been pretty decent, despite the fact that I do not like the writer of the comic. But of course, they've been deviating from the comic, so it's been.
Well, they would have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Garth Ennis a lot, but that shit just isn't going to fly on the streaming service.
Yeah, as I was told by a famous author, whose name I will not say because I try not to name drop. When you change your mediums, you have to change your story, because what works in a book will often not work in a TV series or a movie. So, to all those fans out there who are like, it's not like the book. Exactly. It's not supposed to be like the book because you have to make changes when you change your medium.
All right. Well, in fairness, they're marketing it to you. they're saying, hey, you like the book? Well, you should check this out. And sometimes that's okay. And sometimes, it's like if you're a fan of Stephen King and you want to go see The Lawnmower Man because you like that short story. Well, sorry, buddy. No relation whatsoever.
Well, to give an example of something I have just recently seen that where they made changes and it was perfectly fine. I just watched The Long Halloween Batman animated movie, and they made changes from the comic, and it was perfectly good. The changes that they made did not deviate from the story in any way, I felt. So I thought it was really neat.
Oh, cool. And Sean Veras calling out he liked The Tick on Amazon, which I thought was a great show. I loved both seasons, and I was bummed there wasn't a third. But there seems like there's almost a 2-season wall for a lot of streaming shows. It's hard to get that third season. But yeah, I really.
Yeah.
So what kind of background are you thinking for this guy? Just a color gradient, or
Put
put him out in the forest, or put him in a Chuck E. Cheese? That would be kind of a terrifying scene in a movie. They're getting ready to sing Happy Birthday, and the curtain comes back, and this guy comes crawling out. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be pretty creepy. But of course, Slender Man evokes a lot of the creepiness. He's all about that. He's definitely there to set off the Uncanny Valley ick factor.
Yeah, that's a big part of what he's all about. So,
which I love the comment I saw about the Uncanny Valley ick factor it is a universal trait that is found in humans. What is it that is in our genetic code that humans saw sometime in their past that makes us afraid of that? What is it? There's something had to have triggered it that it becomes that inherent in all people.
I'm guessing it was the coexistence with pre-modern humans. I mean, because I'm not mistaken, they were coexisting with Neanderthals for a while.
Maybe.
So that's my guess. But yeah, as you say, maybe. Let's see. Amazon owned James Bond. I didn't know that, Sean Bear. That's kind of cool. I know there will not be a Bond series. They're sticking with movies, but I think a Moneypenny or Felix miniseries would be cool. What a great. I'd be up for either one of those.
Yeah, I think a Felix Leiter series would be great because he's a character that shows up all the time. Everyone knows who he is. He's supposed to be competent like Bond. So I would love to see some Felix Leiter series.
I would even be up for just Tales of MI6. What they do when James is out in the field. Other agents or.
They're probably doing actual spy work.
Looking at satellite pictures and trying to decode ciphers and.
It's something my roommate and I were talking about today with Bond is like. He's not a spy because he is an overt agent. People know his name, and he can't really go undercover. The only time we see him go undercover and actually do spy stuff is the Lazenby film, the one film that people hate the most.
Well, he's a pulp hero. He's an action hero, and most spies are trying really hard to be boring as hell.
Yeah.
So this is a trailer for that Slender Man movie that apparently is on HBO, and it looks like it's hitting all the notes of a Blair Witch-esque kind of. Oh wow, creepy shadows coming up the stairs. That's nicely done. Jump scare coming up. Oh, no.
It's a cat.
It's a cat. And it looks like, yeah, the circle will pan away. There is no Slender Man in the Slender Man trailer. Oh, wait, is that him? Damn it. I really want there to be a Slender Man in this trailer now, and they're just not giving it to us. It's just kids committing suicide and stabbing themselves and other people. And oh, wait, there he is. Shadowy figure in the fall in the forest. All right. Jump scare coming in. Oh. All right. It looks like you're just about done.
Getting close.
Okay.
So yeah, otherwise, been having a fun weekend.
I've
been following news coming out of PowerCon, being a Masters of the Universe fan.
What's going on there?
They're doing a lot of, the usual toy reveals of stuff that's coming up in the next year. Reassuring people that no, the toy line is not ending. We have plans to continue making these toys for years to come. The line is popular, so we're going to still make these. There's a lot of people out there who are like, these people are saying that the line is ending, and I've watched their videos, and those people said no such thing. Like there's this one guy, toy guru Scott Knightlich, and they're saying he's saying that the Masters of the Universe line is ending. It's like, I watched the video. He didn't say that at all. He in fact said the toy line is very easily strong because of how easy it is to make Masters of the Universe figures. Because much like what they did in the 1980s, they swap parts and mix and match parts from one character to another. So they don't have to make new parts for every character. And that makes the characters cheap to produce, and they can make a lot of them.
Shawnee Vera says the best monsters are the ones that leave something to the imagination. Yeah, I would agree. That was a concept that was illustrated very well in the very first Alien movie, where you hardly even the monsters is more suggested than shown.
Yeah. So. Alien was one of those greats. Love that movie.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Are you going to get one of those Nerf pulse rifles that they have on sale, that they have on pre-order right now?
No, I don't think so. It's a cool thing. I can appreciate wanting to have one, but everything my kid touches turns into a gun. So okay. I try not to, and we've got a few dart guns already in the backyard, and I try not to
you're trying to decrease. Yeah.
I'm not cracking down, but I don't want to bring any more guns into the house because we already have a handful of Nerf dart guns and a freaking Nerf rocket propelled grenade launcher that someone got him for his birthday. So we've checked that box and don't need to do any more. But yeah, that's a cool idea. I just wish there were better. Once again, I wish there were more, but better Alien sequels, because I've got 2 movies in that franchise I like, and everything else is kind of, not so much. Which is a shame, but although, I suppose you could say the Avatar movies are also in that franchise.
No.
You don't think so?
No, the Avatar movies are their own thing.
Well, there's a lot of similarities, including besides the involvement of James Cameron. You do not see that.
Besides the involvement of James Cameron, I do not see it. They're completely different genres.
Okay, fair enough. I guess I can see that. But I mean, you could see Avatar being in the same universe, right?
Potentially.
Overreaching corporations, space marines.
Eh,
Not really. Okay.
the technology level of the Space Marines in Avatar was well above what the Colonial Marines had.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
How
They
so?
had mechs.
Yeah, they had
weaponized mechs.
Oh, they had background bodies you could put your brain into. All right, yeah, fair point. You could literally project your consciousness.
Yeah, there was no reason for them to be piloting those mechs either. They should have been VR controlled with the technology they had to put into other bodies.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point.
But again, I'm not a Hollywood writer. I'm just some guy who lives here espousing ideas.
Did you hear why they made the Avatar line at Disney World?
No.
They were so pissed they couldn't get the Harry Potter license that they wanted to go for that would be the next best thing. So they picked up Avatar, which hasn't had a movie in a decade, and just had the one movie.
Wow.
And apparently the big argument was J.K. Rowling really wanted a big Hogwarts Express train going into Hogwarts Land. And Disney was like, nah, we have too many trains already. It can't do that. So
they do.
Yeah, well, they have a lot. So. But COVID, I have no idea when the next time is. Oh, here we go. The Alien's Gun is shockingly expensive at the price I saw listed up here. How much is the Alien's Gun?
$100, I think.
What, for a dart gun? That's crazy, sir.
But it is a full sized. It's the size of a Colonial Marines pulse rifle. It's got the underslung grenade launcher. It has the counter. It has the slap in clip. Other than the paint job, and it has a carrying case as well. So other than the paint job, because it's all Nerf colors, it looks like a Colonial Marines pulse rifle. You slap some paint on that, and you will have a cosplay worthy toy prop.
Yeah, I was just thinking if I was doing Alien cosplay, that would be great, but I'm not. So yeah, but still, that's a cool thing to have. Where were these cool toys when I was a kid?
That's what I keep asking.
Jacob, that is some amazing work there.
Thank you. And I think that's done.
Sweet. All right. Well, hey, Sean, thanks for hanging out with us. And Sean says that gun is nearly 200 Canadian. Got to love the exchange rate and markup. That's crazy. That's oof. Well, cool. Sean, always a pleasure chatting with you, sir. Thanks for hanging out. Everybody else who's been watching, thanks for hanging out for our impromptu drawing and chatting with Jacob. And Jacob, any closing thoughts before I play the outro music and cut off the show?
If you enjoy content like this, please support the BAMF Podcast Patreon. I also have a Patreon available at patreon.com/Jacob Blackmon. If you just want to check out my art, check me out at deviantart.deviantart.com.
Sweet. All right, outro music. Once again, thanks, Jacob. It is always a pleasure. And to all our viewers and listeners, we will catch you next time on the BAMF